Hi, hello, everybody. It's so good to be able to speak out today. I'm so excited. I'm super excited. I can't keep this in. So today I'm not really ranting or raving or anything. Or maybe I'm raving. I might be raving a bit today. So this is the musings of a sanguine Christian woman. And the sanguine Christian woman in this situation right now is Adeoluwa. My name is Adeoluwa. In case you are wondering what's with the long introduction, so my musings today is a movie musing. So we are doing a segment. You might not see it as a segment, but it would be indicated in the episodes that you see. I mean, by the time you see the movie or the series, you can tell that it's a movie musing. Now, I wouldn't say movie review because I feel like for me to review a movie, I have to be like an expert in movie making or something like that, but I'm not. So I'm just going to speak on my perspective as Adeoluwa. So the movie musing for today, for this episode, the movie that I'm going to be musing on is what some will call or RRR. I'm trying to remember, like the RRR represents like three different things. Some said it represents the name of the two leads and the producer, which is S.S. Rajamouli and Ramcharan, then NTR Jr. So like the RRR, they said was picked from there. That is one. Then the second one, which obviously is in the movie, is Rise Revolt. Rise Raw. Yeah, Rise Raw Revolt. Right? So yeah, which comes with the okay. Some like to call it like that. Then there is the other one that is depicted in the story, right? The R in the story, do you understand, is the first R. Then the R in fire, which is the second R. Then the R in water. So you have like the story, the fire, the water, and that was how the story was told. Like ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, okay, this is one thing I like about Asian movies, is that everybody can watch it. It's a family friendly movie. Okay, except of course maybe when it gets to the gore part of it, because that happens at times where there is violence, right? But you can be sure that your child is not going to be sexually harassed or embarrassed or indoctrinated in that story. That's for sure. When it comes to the violence part, I mean, you may have to don't worry, if your child can't handle it, they'll just hide their eyes anyways. So yeah, that's about it. I like the review of these guys on YouTube. Well, this gentleman on YouTube, Cinema Therapy. I think that's what they call their channel. I've been watching reviews for a while now, like for almost like a week straight. I've just been watching reviews, like reactions rather, like movie reaction of RRR, and it has been amazing. The kind of reactions, you get the ones that are excited about the man, you get the ones which, then you get the ones who are excited about the story, then you get the ones that are excited about the fighting, and then you get the ones that are excited about the emotional side of it. Everyone got emotional. I don't think there's anyone who didn't get emotional, because I mean, we got to see the story, the fire, the water, and it was kind of interesting. The story, you can say, is like the prologue, or not. That is not even the prologue. I think that's just like what propelled the story forward. Like, there was the prologue, the background story, but there is also like the catalyst, if you may, that sort of torpedoed everything. But the fire and the water found a way. I mean, usually fire and water, they are not friends, they're not friends. They have fire, water quenches fire, right? And but they showed us that it's not impossible for fire and water to actually be friends. They would, of course, clash at some point, but at the end of the day, they would find a common ground where they can both become a force, because they are both forces of nature, and they can work for or against, depending on who knows these elements and knows how to navigate themselves through those elements, right? And it was shown in the story where both of them, without knowing each other, well, I guess they are elements connected in a way, and so they sort of, without knowing each other as persons, but I guess they're, like I said, they're elements connected. There was an issue of a fire accident over water, and a little boy was trapped, a boy that naturally he would not drown because he's a fisher boy, but he could get burned on that water. It was that serious. Interesting. Like the how wow. I mean, you look at that story and there's a lot to flesh out, because then in the when both of them met, like when they had to go and rescue a boy, you can see where water and fire met. Not the two men now, but the elements itself. The fire, that fell with fuel actually on the water, and the fire is burning on that water. You would expect that the large body of water will swallow that fire, but it didn't happen that way. You understand what I'm saying? The fire was burning, the water was on its own, and somebody is about to get roasted, like really roasted on that. And so it was like you could be in water literally and get burnt. You get? Like, there is no guarantee that the water will save you from the fire, if you get my drift. So it just shows how the fire can be on its own if it has the fuel to back it up and be burning, while the water may not be able to quench it, and the water is just on its own like that. That was what really happened there. Like, so if you're going to analyze that was that. But for me, like, the cinematography guys, I keep saying guys, they're not guys, they're men. The cinematography men said on YouTube, you can check them out, you can check out their review. It was really interesting because one of them is a cinematographer, the other person is a therapist. So you can see how that is even beautiful in terms of when you watch reactions like that, you're able to learn lessons. You get to see the movie was this, the you can get to hear the how will I call it, the art of the story, but the therapist will give you the lessons, the life lessons from the story. So I love that combination. I'm glad I found them, and I hope that they do more reviews or reactions as it were to movies, especially the ones that I really liked, because I liked the way they, went into the stories and really delved into them, especially the therapist. It was really nice to hear, because most of the time what you hear is, movie review, movie reaction, and those are beautiful, right? It gives you a feeling of being in a theater, or rather a cinema, as a cinema theater, without actually being there. You get to see how people react and feel the vibe and all of that. It's quite interesting, and I was speaking of, the cinema, some people had videos, short clips of how it went down in the cinemas when RRR was, on this big screen, and it was like, how people cheer in the football pitch, yeah, that was it. It was like a party. Everybody was screaming, cheering, clapping. Like Tollywood would do that to you. Like the Telugu movie industry would do that for you. Like the action, the emotions, they always kind of mix it together a lot. Of course, they always lean more. If you watch a lot of their movies, the Telugu movie industry, they lean more on the action part, right? You see a lot of action. It's usually extremely violent a lot of times, extreme violence, but there's also, a dash of romance in there. But theirs is, I think they just lean more on the action side of things. So, like, if you're into action, you want to go into what they call Tollywood or Telugu movie industry. So that being said, back to our... So, it's interesting to note that the leads in this movie are men. 2 men. Now, you know why that is even a thing? Because some people who don't get it will be like, so, well, you must be living under a blissful rock, or over a blissful rock. More like over it. If you are going to tell me so, well, because usually where men are the lead roles is always sexual. But this one, there is nothing sexual about it, right? The men were on a mission. You get? They were on a mission. They had their lives, they had their background stories, and they had their mission. And, because there are some similarities between their core elements, they eventually connected in a pure way, non-sexual, just brotherhood, as the case may be, from trying to rescue a child, which one of them was there for, to trying to rescue the nation, right? So one was trying to rescue the nation, the other one was trying to rescue a child, and so their ideals clashed, because for one to achieve his goal, one had to betray the other. So that one was ongoing. They didn't really know who the other person was. So, sans their background, sans their mission, sans all of that, they were just able to connect and just be brothers based on a name that is not even their real names, so to speak, just like cover names, right? And they connected, they bonded, they had meaningful conversations, they got into they played. Like you get to see, how will I put it now? I think it's popular because then you see masculinity in its beauty. You get to see the beauty of masculinity. It's not toxic, it's not threatening, you see it and you're like, wow, this is beautiful. Like, I'm glad they reintroduced masculinity, and they reintroduced, what is it called now? Courtesy, you understand? Finesse. Unlike, someone who was talking about finesse in that story, but when you watch it, you see, they introduced that to the people. And I think that is why it became really popular, because then the question is always asked, like, so what is masculinity? and then every time you talk about masculinity, it's talked about in terms of toxicity, but they showed us again, they reminded us what masculinity was all about. Masculinity, where men would just be men, and it has nothing to do that. There was nothing sexual about that. It was just men fulfilling purpose. That was it. Like, how beautiful is that? It was men fulfilling purpose. Was that romance in there? Oh yeah, of course, absolutely, yes. But the mission did not come before the women. Though the women were involved, they were part of it. Their screen time wasn't that much, but their impact was felt. Let me say that again. Their screen time wasn't that much because they were obviously not the lead. The story wasn't really about them, but they were involved. They were important. Without them, the story would have become tragic on all sides. It would have turned tragic for the two men. But these women played a very important role. They were just being themselves, really. They were just, standing up for what they believe without fear. And I got to see, I have to really talk about the different reactions that really caught my attention. I remember watching a reaction, I think it was Sign Desi or something, maybe Sin Desi, Sin, I guess, from cinema, then Desi from India, so Sin Desi. I think it's Sin Desi when they were reacting to this, and it was two ladies. One of them is a black woman, and I saw the way she reacted when, the water guy was attracted to a white woman. He, of all people, should not be. But hey, I think they're just showing us, like, because he's water, where is there no water? You understand? Water always finds its way. Yeah? Water, like fire spreads, water also spreads. Everyone needs water. Nobody is an enemy of water, and water is not necessarily an enemy of anybody. Unless, of course, you throw trash at it. And I think that was also depicted in the story, where somebody was trying to warn the British, the looters from Britain, as the case may be. Let me put it that way. That's what, Indians call marauders, people who just invade their country, looters, and they are looters. So the looters from Britain were told that, look, these are very peaceful people, and let's face it, water is peaceful, right? Peaceful people, they don't, if you oppress them and all, they don't revolt. But when you take one of them, you realize that when you take something from the water, for you to take something from water, it's water is generally peaceful, but it can also swallow a person whole, then later spit it out if it feels like it. It can swallow it whole and then spit it out at the same time. Then it swallows something and then goes back to normal like nothing happened. Yeah? Well, you get what I'm saying? So there is, it's very, very much interesting how, the water guy was introduced. It just says a lot about water, so to speak. It was like, but when you take one of his own, it will come and take it from you, no matter where it is. He will come hunting. And that was the introduction. And for me, I mean, a lot of people liked the fire guy, but I like the water guy. I should like the fire guy. I should. But I kind of like the water guy because he was a, well, the fire guy was also a gentleman when he's not doing his job, obviously. But the water guy for me seemed like a very innocent person. He wasn't a man of the world kind of thing. He he was not a contaminated person, but he was highly intelligent, right? Simple, but highly intelligent. He also has a heart. You understand? He's all heart, but he's also very fierce as well. The issue of water is such that it can be found anywhere. It's everywhere. It flows. And they connect to one another as well. Of course, there are situations where water fight against one another, but it's not common. Excuse me. It's not common, right? So you find a situation where, water does not discriminate, really. You never know where water leads to or where it's going. You don't know where it's flowing from, and you don't know where it's going, right? It just flows. It just sometimes goes with the flow. And that was, I think, what happened with the water guy. I don't know why I keep calling him that, but yeah, the water guy, I had to say water guy because if you understand water, then you will understand this guy's, the character's personality, as the case may be. So we'll just stick to the elements that they embody. So the water guy he was looking, it's funny. No, it's not funny. It's not really funny. Some people find, it's often said, and I can't help but agree, that you find your life partner when you are on your mission, when you are in your purpose, when you are doing what you are meant to do, what you are called to do. And he was in the story, it was called the shepherd of his people. You can call him the chief, right? But shepherd was more like it, everybody, there was nobody, how will I put it now? He was the shepherd of the people. Everybody was a leader in a way. But anytime there is a danger, he takes care of everybody. Like he's the caretaker of everybody, So, but you don't see him as a chief like that. Although, from what I see him as the chief of the people. But it is what it is. They call him the shepherd, right? Who, when a lamb is taken, he went seeking for it. Like David, right? Like David, when David was saying, when a bear came and took the lamb, I took it from it, and when it came after me, I smote it on its beard. So that is more like just think about David, and you would, and as a shepherd, and then you get it if you're a Christian listening. So he was looking at this imposing mansion, as it were, of the governor that took his lamb in court. And it was like, how do I get in here? He was just studying that place and just looking. And as he was looking, he saw 3 women. 2 of them were backing him. One was sideways, and she was laughing. And that captivated him so much that he removed his cap. Men, when they want to show respect, if they have something on their head, they remove it. And it's symbolic because he wasn't removing his cap when he was studying that house. He was on a mission. But when a man sees what he wants, he can see it anywhere and recognize it. That's just the truth. There's nothing like he's too busy no, he's not too busy. He didn't come there for romance, but it found him. Or he found it. He wasn't looking for it. He was looking for the lamb that he needed to rescue. And he saw this gorgeous, laughing woman, and he was captivated. And it was like, I think he was smitten. Smitten was the word, because he just went, like, slowly removed his cap and was just looking. I'm like, wow, okay, bro. But he kept he kept studying the place and thinking about how he was going to get into that place, because it was important for him to get in here, there and get out alive, because he's there to rescue, not to destroy per se. But destruction is obviously something that must be done. And then, of course, there was that first encounter, and then he saw her again when she was when somebody was being brutally beaten, and she shouted basically at the guy, why are you treating him like that and stuff, like, don't do that to him. And she helped the man up. The fact that she helped somebody she didn't know, and she didn't feel disgusted, because you know how it is. The names they call black people or brown people, they somehow see themselves, these looters, they somehow see themselves as clean because of their skin tone, while they see others as not clean. And so the thought of touching is sort of like, nah, I'm not gonna touch, that's dirty kind of thing. But she did it as if it was a child, and she was so kind. It was like, oh my God, she's so kind. And she said maybe she can help us. Dude was still on his mission, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the man was still on his mission. He wasn't distracted from his mission, but he did notice that she was a kind person, and he immediately thought maybe she can help us, right? And maybe we can get close to her, which is probably easy for him to say, considering the fact that he's already smitten anyway. So then, of course, his brother, his new found brother, fiRe, the fireman, saw him, looking at her again, and he was like, wow, is she that beautiful? I thought that was funny when he said, oh wow, is she that beautiful? And they sort of arranged for both of them to really meet. They talked a lot, but they didn't understand each other completely because of the language barrier, but they were able to communicate. They had a good time. They enjoyed each other's company. Now, to the reactor, the black woman that was the reactor, understand I'm a black woman, so you understand. So I understood why she was not down with that. She was like, oh. The way she said the oh, like, yeah. Another black man gone. Yeah, she was like, another black man gone. I thought that was funny. I understand how she feels. Like, there aren't that many, there are, but you see, you find that the good ones that are available, they're also going for, women that are out, that are not black women. And so it makes black women feel, so who is going to marry us and stuff? That's another story. That's another topic for another day, But that is like the running conversation right now. Black women would rather marry black men. I think that is that is a well-known established fact. But black men are like water. Fortunately or unfortunately, depends on how you look at it. They're like water. They can flow anywhere, and you can't stop their movement. They can flow, like where you expect them to flow to, they don't always flow there. They can flow everywhere, right? Or anywhere in the direction that is unexpected of them, So unlike fire that can be contained, water mostly cannot be contained. Fire can be contained, depends on the size of the fire and what is fueling the fire. Because if the fire has something that is fueling it, it's hard to contain it. You just have to maybe do a fire breaker or something somewhere to stop to reduce its damage, so to speak. So unlike the fire guy, he already had someone he was with, a childhood sweetheart, if you may. A childhood sweetheart who wasn't white, obviously. So I like the fact that they brought that element into it, though not so many patriotic people will be down with that. Like, they probably will look at her as a traitor, and also look at the guy, the wateR guy, as a traitor as well. But I don't see it that way. Love is sometimes is also like water. It's a combination of water and fire. Love, it flows, and you don't know where it's going to carry you to. And it also has this burning element to it that, I guess that's the passion part of it. When passion is in there, it's just water. But when fire is there, it's another thing. But okay. And so she became part of his mission because she had to pick a side. She had to pick a side, but she was very, very smart about it as well. She had to pick a side. She just could not stand the mistreatment of the Indian people, and she had gotten to that point where she had to pick a side, and it was required of her. Someone was actually close enough to her to reach out to her, and this is somebody that she likes, so let's just say it was easier for her. I can't imagine that it was easy for her, because from I haven't completely, I think I watched the movie once, but I can't remember all the details. But from what I gather, I think that the governor and his Jezebel of a wife, that woman, if you are looking for a depiction of Jezebel, she acted it well. My God, she was brutal. Like, she enjoyed seeing people suffer. Like, she enjoyed it. She found pleasure in it, right? I mean, I don't know what to say to that. It's just weird. And so you have a situation where one white woman made him suffer more, and while he's in love with one, but it wasn't conflicted for him. He was able to differentiate between what is what. Like, he met the lady before. Although I remember him saying something like, "These white women, don't they have children? Don't they give birth to children? Why are they like this?" I like the fact that he mentioned the woman, because he understands. A man like him who is raised to respect women. For you to respect women is because you understand the strength they have and the power they have and the influence they possess. You understand the uniqueness of their strength and the uniqueness of their personality. That is what breeds. You don't just respect them because you are told to respect them, kind of thing. So he understands women. He has to. I mean, he's the shepherd of the people. So he's like, don't they have children? So he saw that it's like, you guys don't have women in your life, and the women, and he saw that, yes, they have women in their life. So what are these women doing? Are these women instigating? So these women are actually instigating these things to happen. I mean, because obviously he was told what happened when he came back, and he was wondering, what the freaking, you get, don't they give birth to children? I mean, as a shepherd, of course, some of the children, many of the children in his clan, as it is, or in his tribe, they were born practically in his presence. You understand what I mean? So he would hear the cry, the screams, and the shout of the women as they're giving birth. And so for him, he's like, how can you go through that and then take a child away from a mother, you know? But I like the fact that he was fierce where he needed to, although there was a point where, you know, he was in a fight mode. And he was punching everything and everyone he saw. And he was about to punch somebody when he saw the woman he loved, and she was just like, the thing is, she just looked, I don't know how I can't even tell how she looked. I think she just looked kind of awestruck. Like she wasn't afraid. She didn't look afraid to me. She just looked shocked. Like shocked. And the way she was looking at him, like she bent backwards and she didn't say anything. He was looking at her. She was looking at him. And they were just looking at each other. And he was just shaking because he was about to throw his whole body into that punch. Only for him to see a woman, not just any woman, by the way. The woman he's falling in love with. And he just pulled her into a car and shut the car there, like, stay in there. And she just, she was so cute. And she just put her hands on the window and was looking out, like somebody who was looking into a shop and doing a window shopping. I thought that was cute. That is one movie that you can never get tired of watching over and over again. Like, it's a classic. It's not one of those movies you watch once and then you're done. Next, please, kind of thing. No, because there are so many layers to that story, and the more you watch it, the more you see it. You know. So that'll be it for now. On RRR. So who are my favorites? Jenny, the woman the wateR guy fell in love with. I love their interactions, and I like the wateR guy as well. The fiRe guy is likable too, but he's not my favorite. I can't say why, but he's just not I think he's too aggressive, or maybe I just like, I don't know. I sometimes you don't even know. I just like the wateR guy better. That's it. But I like both of them together as brothers. Like, it's a very beautiful thing to see that friendship. And I think it's important for women to see that, because when we see that, I think many of us will understand why men need each other. You know, so when the man in your life is telling you that he wants to go and be with the boys, you understand that he's a man, and he needs to iron sharpen iron. He has to be among masculine people like himself, who he can just, you know, they can just talk about things and just blow breeze and just, you know, do things that boys do, like you know, play with a sheep and get chased by a child with a cane who thought they were trying to steal. That was crazy. And trying to outrun a train. Oh Lord, that was cute. And using each other to pull weight. It was crazy. Like, guy stuff, you know, where they just play. Men need to play, and they do that well when they're with each other. And so I think for us women that watch that, we get to see how they actually play, and it's so beautiful to watch. And you as a woman, you wouldn't watch that and you'd be like, I want that for my son. You understand what I'm saying? Imagine having, you know, when they have children, imagine having uncles like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, ooh, the children are going to be having so much fun, especially the boys. You know, like, they just shuttle the boys between tribes, so to speak. Like, yeah, go to your your Uncle Ram, yeah, and after some time, Uncle Ram would like go to Uncle Beam, yeah, and just and they would have the best of both worlds. They would learn, from two great men how to be strong, and they're going to have their sons being stronger than them, just like they grew to achieve more than what their fathers were able to achieve. So it becomes a generational thing where they build up a legacy of strength, of courage, of wisdom, of leadership, right, of respect for women, right, and caring for children. When they were trying to rescue that child, they both got bad news about the mission, their main mission. Both of them were being told that, it's going to be impossible to get what they wanted, what they were sacrificing everything to get. So they could very well not give a hoot if a child drowns, But they saw a need, and whatever it is they were going on, when they were like, a child is in danger. You can't just watch a child just burn right in your very before like that. What are we going to do about it? And that was how they met, So sometimes there are decoys that take you closer to your destiny. They don't look like it, but you just do it because you're a human. You're a humane person. You're a human being, and you can't watch people suffer. And so you just do it by the way, It's unrelated. It's probably going to delay, in quote. You could think of it as a delay to your goal. But they went through that, and they ended up becoming alliances that helped them further in their goals. Did they meet hiccups? Oh, absolutely they did. But they ended up smoothing each other out and becoming each other's strongest allies. And I think for women who are humane, who have a real heart, and who are not Jezebels, okay, women who are women indeed, you get to see how your son should be, how your sons should be. You get to see that, how will I put it now? What men, like, I don't know what other example of manhood that than that. Really, it's just there. Well done. I mean, that's a masterpiece, that you can watch with the boys and you can watch with the girls, and everybody is going to take something away from it. Everybody is going to learn something from it that would help in their family life, in their personal life, right? So this is not just something that is fiction just like that, but it's a lot of learning points are in it. So if you haven't watched it, I think I highly recommend it. Highly. And please don't watch it alone. You would not really enjoy it if you watch it alone, which is why I watch a lot of reactions. So if you can gather your friends, and if it's viewing in a cinema close to you, better. But go with your friends, go with your family, or you can, watch it at home with somebody, with your friend, with family and friends. You can have it as a date stuff, when you guys are having your get together and just decide we're going to watch this. It's going to be fun. It's so much fun that you can't watch it alone. And that's why I had to even talk about it, because I couldn't just contain everything that I've gotten from it. So far I've been talking for what? Almost 44 minutes now. All right. I will really put a pin on it for now. All right. Guard your hearts with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. That's in the book of Proverbs. What else? They that know their God, they shall be strong and they shall do exploits. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Shalom.